Hey y'all, this your girl T and Like Only Be Me, and I'm coming at you today with a homemade chicken pot pie. The ingredients that you're gonna need is some chicken breasts, cut up thin. You're gonna need you some real bacon or some bacon crumbles. I have bacon crumbles, that's what I like to use, and that's the real bacon. Paprika, cream of chicken, onion powder, parsley, celery salt. You can also use celery. I got some thyme leaves, garlic. You're gonna need some black pepper, seasoning salt, butter or margarine. In my case, I have margarine. 1 egg, biscuits. You can use frozen or the canned biscuits, either or is your preference. An onion and potato. All right. So I want to thank you for coming to my channel. I hope you enjoy this recipe, and if you tried, leave a comment below and let me know that you have tried my recipe of how I make my homemade chicken pot pie. All right, so I also have a second channel. The name, oh, you're gonna need something else too, but I also have a second channel. The name of my second channel is Boss Up Cleaning. That is BOSSUP Cleaning, CLEANING. The other ingredient that you're going to need is some flour, whether it's all-purpose or self-rising, but you're going to need just some flour. All right, so let's move right on to this recipe. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take your potatoes, and you want your potatoes diced up. As you can see, I showed you how I dice my potatoes. You want it into small little chunks. Make sure that all of them is just about the same size, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my potatoes and I'm going to get them over here in my pot and start boiling them until they get fork tender. I don't want to boil them too long until they start tearing up and you know, mushing up like mashed potatoes, but I do want to boil them long enough until they are fork tender. I did not peel the skin on these potatoes. I left the skin on, and that's red potatoes. If you want to leave the skin on your russet potatoes, you can do that, okay? It's up to you. You do what you want to do. All right, so now we got our chicken breast. As you can see, I took my chicken breast and I thinned out each one of them into thin little pieces. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna season this up. You can season it up with whatever seasons that you would like to season it with, but I'm just gonna season mine with some Morton seasoning salt. Just give your meat some good flavor. You want everything to have nice flavor, okay? You're gonna season it with some onion powder, garlic powder, and just a little bit of paprika. To that, I'm gonna add a little black pepper. And maybe just a pinch of salt, just a pinch. All right. To my potatoes back here, I forgot to tell y'all some chicken-based seasoning. I'm gonna add some chicken-based seasoning to my potatoes just so they'll have them a little flavor that they're gonna be boiling in, okay? Everything that you cook, you want it to have flavor, all right? So, boil it, and some salt, some chicken-based seasoning just to give your meat some flavor. All right, so I'm gonna mix this seasoning around on my chicken, coating every last piece. Making sure all of it gets some flavor. Keep an eye on your potatoes because you do not want to overcook this because it's gonna have to sizzle in the oven, okay? If you feel you have overcooked your potatoes just slightly too much, I recommend that you let them cool all the way down to room temperature. That way they can keep their firmness. Over here in my large skillet, I'm going to add my butter. You can add some oil if you want to, but I'm just going to add butter. And I'm going to build all my flavor up in this one pan. Now you're going to take your chicken breast and you're going to add it to the pan, and we're going to pan sear these chicken breasts, building flavor, y'all. You can buy you a rotisserie or something like that from the store, but this right here ain't doing nothing but building flavor to our dish, y'all. We're going to pan sear these chicken breasts until they're completely cooked all the way through. Getting nice caramelization on both sides. Not too dark, but you know you want a little color. Don't overcrowd your pan, because once you overcrowd your pan, it's going to start making your chicken breast start releasing its juices. And that's not what we're going for at this moment. We just want to cook this chicken breast until it's browned on both sides, okay? Alright, so I got my chicken over here browning, and so now I'm about to check my potatoes to see if they are fork tender, and they are. So now I'm just about to take these out the water. I already turned it off. Dump that. And we're going to let those sit to the side until we need them. My chicken breast is just about finished. Again, just a few more seconds. I forgot another thing to tell y'all that you're gonna need is some chicken broth, or you can do your chicken based seasoning and make up your chicken broth. So you're gonna need that as well too, y'all. Alright, y'all, so my chicken is ready, and I got my chicken broth ready. Now, if you just use the box chicken broth, I recommend you get your 2 chicken bouillon cubes and add that to it, okay? So, I'm going to take the chicken out the pan, and be sure to leave it down on a low enough temperature, because like I said, we is building up flavor in this pan, and you do not want to burn your pan, and then you're going to mess up everything that we're trying to do, okay? Alright, so you're going to let that sit to the side and rest. Now to my pan, I'm going to add some more margarine. You can add, if you got butter, add butter. At this point, and I know y'all want to sit a little closer, because if I was you, I would want to be a little closer too. So at this point, you're going to add your onions to this, and you're going to saute these onions until they get translucent. Down just a little bit. When you get to that point, I'm gonna come back and show you the next step. Also, what I forgot to tell you is, at this point, if you're going to use real bacon, you can go ahead on and fry up your bacon instead of using the butter, and you can use the fat off the bacon to cook your onions. Now that the onions is translucent, you want to take you some flour, and this, I don't know how much butter that you're using, so just kind of like do a little bit at a time. And what you're doing is you're using this as a thickener, and you're going to cook this flour just a little bit. You're not trying to brown it, you're just trying to cook that flour taste out of them. Add me a little bit more butter to mine. You just want to cook that flour taste out. It's gonna take about just a few seconds to cook that. As if you're making a gravy. Alright, so now to this you're gonna add the chicken broth. And immediately it's going to start thickening. So now, this is what we're gonna start adding our other ingredients, which is for one, the bacon. I'm gonna go ahead on and add my bacon now, since you know that I'm gonna add the rest of my liquid as I need it, but not at this moment because I don't want it too loose. Okay, so I'm gonna add some bacon. And you add how much bacon that you would like in yours. Gonna add my frozen mixed vegetables. Ooh, whichever kind that you want to use, that's what you use. Nicely already. And so now what we're about to do is we're just gonna let this here. Oh, one more thing we're gonna add. Hold up. We're gonna add our can of cream of chicken. And this right here is gonna give it that creaminess. See that? Let that come together. You know the broth to a chicken pot pie. I mean, not the broth, but you know the base to a chicken pot pie is thick. It's not watery. So you do not want it watery. Now we're just gonna let this here simmer while we cube up our chicken breast that we just sauteed up. And you see how I say this building up flavor from this pan? Everything, the seasonings from that chicken breast and all of that is getting all into this mixture. All right, so let this here simmer for about a good 10 minutes. I forgot, y'all, we got to add our other seasonings. Okay, so I just tasted it and it was pretty good on the salt. So I'm going to add a little thyme leaves to this. My celery salt. And this right here is adding more salt. So I got my celery salt. Just be light-handed on your celery salt. I'm going to add some onion powder. And some parsley. And you can use fresh parsley if you would like. And then this is what I'm going to add some black pepper. Just a little bit, because I don't want the black pepper to take over like it's the star of the show. Okay. Alright. Keep a stir on it so it don't burn. And you're just going to let all these flavors just simmer and come together. Alright, so now I'm about to cube up my chicken breast. Now you cube it up how big you want, just depends on how big of the chunks that you want in yours, okay? But if you notice, I have not added the potatoes to the mixture over there. That is because I already boiled the potatoes, y'all, and I do not want my potatoes to cook any further. You're gonna need your dish, a pan like this to put it in too. But I did not want my potatoes to cook any further. You know, we already got to stick it in the oven. But basically what we're doing is getting those vegetables and stuff like that we just added to it a good start on getting cooked and stuff like that. Because once we put this in the oven, we're going to be almost done with this. It's not going to take you that long to do this. You ain't got to worry about no dough. I've done this with pie crust, and this is another way that you can do chicken pot pie if you don't want to do the frozen pie crust. But the frozen pie crust is good as well. I ain't Miss Betty Crocker, y'all know that, honey. I'm gonna cheat where I can, okay? Especially when it comes to making some bread. So I'm getting all this here cubed up. You can dice it up with your knife or whatever, but when I get this cubed up, we're gonna move on to the next step. I have not added the potatoes yet, but what we are gonna add is the chicken. We're gonna get that right on in now so it can start soaking up that flavor and giving off its flavor off the meat. Get all that mixed in together. This the kind of dish that will grow real fast on you, y'all, because you know once everything you start adding everything to it, the vegetables, potatoes, the chicken, and all of that, it start bulking up the dish, so you end up making more than what you expect. So if you do it this way, you will avoid having to make several pies. And I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. I'm gonna taste one of these green beans. Let's see how much more longer I want to cook this here. Alright, y'all, so now I done cooked that long as I want to cook it. So now I'm about to add these potatoes and just basically toss these right on in there. Try not to tear your potatoes up. Like I said, if you feel like you cooked them too long, then let them cool all the way down so that they'll keep their wholeness. And just toss, just fold them in. You know, to keep from tearing them up. Just like so. And I think now that I added those potatoes, I'm gonna add another can of chicken, cream of chicken. Hold up. So I got one more can. Cause that just took away from, you know, all the moisture and stuff that I had. I figured I was gonna need 2 cans anyway. So I'm just mixing this all in together. Just like so. And so my biscuits, they've been sitting out on the counter for a little bit. Now, you don't have to let them sit out. It's up to you. You can put them on. You could do what I'm finna do, frozen. Okay. So this is our filling, y'all. This is what the filling is looking like, and it looks so good. Y'all see that? I got some thickness to it. Yes, baby. And I know it's probably a little darker in color, but that's because we pan seared this chicken in this pan, so all those flavors is mixed right in with this filling. All right. Okay, so now we got our filling. It's complete. We have our my oven is set to 375 degrees. I have my pan. So what we're about to do is we're gonna take all this filling and we're gonna dump it right in this pan, just like so. That on out. All right. So now, y'all, I got my egg, and what I'm about to do is we're gonna use this egg to brush on top of these biscuits. But unfortunately, I'm gonna add a little water to this to loosen it up. Unfortunately, I don't have a brush, so I gotta improvise and do something a little different and see if it works. Got my egg wash. So my biscuits, they kind of thawed. I'm just gonna take my biscuit and I'm just gonna dip them right into the egg wash and lay them right on top of this here filling. And that's how I'm gonna get my brushing. You got to do what you got to do, boo. Okay. And we're going to lay these here all the way across. Just like so. All these biscuits. Hey, it's working. Okay, so now the biscuits that I have, the space I have left, we just gonna tuck pieces of biscuits in those spots to make up. Somebody say, that's gonna be good. All right, so this is what I got. So now we're gonna put this in the oven and we're gonna cook this until the biscuits is done. And when the biscuits is done, our dish is done, because we did most of the work on the stove. All the work really on the stove. Alright y'all, so this is the ending results to my chicken pot pie. I hope y'all try it. Let me know what y'all think about it. You notice that the color didn't take from the egg wash, I guess, because I don't know. I guess it probably didn't pick up number water, child. I don't know, but honey, it got some color on it. That's all that damn matter, okay? I'm finna brush the top of this with some with a little butter, and then I'm gonna sprinkle. Hold on. Y'all know I couldn't just tell you. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little butter on top of this here. Even though I know it don't need it, but I'm just saying though, I'm gonna put some butter on here anyway, regardless of what it needs. Okay, put a little butter up there. Y'all, this gonna be so good. So good. Oh, y'all. Look at that. Look at that chicken pot pie. I'm not gonna dig into it right now because I'm gonna let it cool just a little bit before I dig into it. And then I'm gonna sprinkle it with a, y'all already know Miss Parsley gotta come to every food family reunion. Okay, don't play. Don't even play. You already know what time it is. And there y'all go. Homemade chicken pot pie.